Hello, I'm Ringrami, and welcome to the channel where I make things, and today I'm making something a little different. Today I'm making content. Hello, YouTube. I had an idea, and I thought it'd be cool if I filmed all of it in-game, because this game has in-engine recording via the camera. I'll elaborate when I get down to the old world. So, this is my second time recording this. I tried doing this on launch day, because I did get the game free on launch with a lot of other people, but there was a bunch of bugs with the recording files and launching the game, so I was not able to do this consistently. So this is my second attempt on April 3rd, 2024, 2 days after launch. Basically, I'm going to be creating a new enemy for the game, but I only have a basic idea. Originally I had no idea when I tried this, but I only have a basic idea. So we're gonna play the game, see what could work, like in engine, while we're in engine, you know? So yeah, that's what we're gonna be exploring today, while I basically vlog my thought processes into making this. I'm almost out of footage, so let's see if we can get a monster so we can at least get some views on this puppy. Oh fuck, the thing. There's an enemy. He's a thing that will charge at you to try and kill you, so we can't take that enemy idea because that already exists. Oh, here he comes. Come on, charge me. Motherfucker fell. Get wrecked, bitch. He killed me. I also apologize if I'm slurring my words at all. I was drinking with friends while we were playing this earlier. Currently playing by myself because we all had to leave, so I'm still slightly intoxicated. But yeah, that does remind me, one of the criteria for the thing we make is it has to be dangerous. We have to impose a sense of danger onto the player. And the big question is, how do we do that when there's already a bunch of scary shit in the game? The trick is to find new fears. Like, I'm sure that part made some people uneasy, me falling, but some people are afraid of heights, I know I am. But it's not going to impose fear on everyone, so we have to make a direct sense of danger. Hey, look, a spine. I don't have one of those. And like, that's the hard part. If I don't want to make my lethal company video, how do you make something objectively scary? It's just very, very difficult. Oh yeah, I also just want to mention, I'm going to try and leave as much of this footage in as possible. I want to see if I can go this entire thing unedited, just put the video files from the game. Oh, something's killing me. Ah, shit! Put the video files in-game into, somewhere else. I was realizing my fan sound was on, so that might have been triggering the ear monster that was chasing me. So I have to turn that off. So my room's gonna get really hot now. That reminds me, also have to like find criteria for how the monster works. Like the two monsters we've run into so far were the Visp, at least it was called in the game files, because I explored through those the other night after I first did my recording, before realizing it all got fucked up and corrupted. But like there's the Visp, which sees you and then charges at you in a straight line. And then there's that thing, which will chase you down in leaps and bounds. In leaps and bounds, and attracts you via sound. So we need to find at least criteria that's different enough to make the monster feel unique. God damn it. Bone. There's a dude over here. Hello, sir? Sir? Sir, gay son or thought daughter? He didn't like the question, he didn't like the question, he didn't like the question. I would say this is one of my favorite enemies so far. He gives immortal snail vibes. It also reminds me, should we find like, oh fuck, my game's lag. That might not come through in the video. But should we find a way that directly references something else? Because like that snail enemy very much feels like the immortal snail. Like he slowly approaches you, but if he catches you, you're more often than not dead. Skull. Try to extract, I'll record when I'm back on the surface. I made it. See, I'm not utter dog. Okay, completely fresh run, let's go. Okay, I forgot what I was saying, but we need to find a unique criteria for the monster. But, which does remind me about the snail enemy. I have been observing him as I played, and despite the fact that initially my first thought thinking him was he's like the immortal snail, he does not instantly know where you are. I have had moments where he's just wandering around rooms, and he does not come towards me. He needs line of sight to establish that connection. But I have also had it so that he appears in rooms that he should not be with the speed he travels. So I think how he works is he'll track you for a while if he sees you, and then if you get too far away, he'll teleport to you and continue tracking you for a short while before losing interest. Then, eventually loses interest in you. But he almost acts like the immortal snail, where he jumps up where you least expect him despite his low speed. Another thing is, most enemies in this game seem to have some form of counterplay. So, like, one you can shine a light at, one you can stay quiet, one you can just run from. Actually, a few you can just run from. Hey, a skull. So having that ability to just counter the monster completely by, like, doing something is also important. Although, to be fair, counterplay doesn't mean we can't make it unfair, because that's part of the fun of these games. Ooh, I've not been up to this area yet. There's a dude over there. I think it's the bomb dude. No, that's the spider, I think. Nope, they are shadow monsters. I'm gonna die. I died, but Mario goes back to dead. Honestly, those shadow enemies are kind of scary because you're focused on looking through the camera like this, where it's in the center of your vision. They're really hard to see because I'm not sure it's a bug or if it's an intentional mechanic, but they seem to not show up very well on the camera unless it lights directly on them. Although that evidence might be completely anecdotal, now that I think about it. God, playing this alone has got me paranoid. I'm just fucking looking in every direction every few seconds to make sure anything sneaks up on me. Although I don't think there's an enemy that just intentionally sneaks up on you. Unless. That would be like a really fun mechanic, possibly. Just, like, you know, kind of like how I initially thought the Mortal Snail worked. Oh, hey, a skull. Bonus views. Kind of like how I thought the snail works, where I thought it could just always track you. Except, what if an enemy that actually does that? It always knows your location and is always tracking somebody. Ribcage, bonus views, let's go! Honestly, it could be something kind of like the Bracken from Lethal Company, except instead of insta-kill, it probably needs something else, because this game doesn't seem fit for insta-kill. I don't think there's anything that insta-kills you. Even things that, like, are guaranteed death, like the starfish, don't insta-kill. It's more just, like, you can technically get out of them, but if you don't bring the options down with you, you're fucked. Oh, ear monster. That's a child. That's a child with a knife. That's a child with a knife. Yeah, you better run. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Bonus use of spine. Child! Now the question is, if it was like the shadow monsters or the web or the other monsters that like catch you, but you technically have a way to escape if you bring it down. Like the shadow monsters, you can shine a light. The cage, you have to capture. The web, you just move a lot. Like, what's our criteria? I think the recording cut off as it's loading. But what's the criteria for escape? Because we definitely need that. Because I think it'd be fair if it was just a monster that like caught you and you have to escape. Otherwise, it just kills you slowly over time. You know, like the starfish, like the shadow monster, like almost everything in this thing that doesn't directly attack you. Are you a snail? Yeah, snail. Maybe since that guy's the snail, we could just call our enemy the immortal. And it's like the polar opposite of that. Maybe they could even fight each other. That'd be kind of cool. Oh, I hate this area. I'm just avoiding this area entirely. Fuck this place. I hate those railroads. I get so lost so easily, and then I just end up dying. This is fun, just recording my thought process live as I have them. Like, okay, some of these I had the previous recording that I can't show because corruption. But like, even then, this is a lot of fun. It's like vlogging, but socially accepted. Even if I keep having a bunch of lag spikes, which I think the devs are working on. They seem to be very responsive to bugs. Shadow monster. Wait, it does appear on camera. I thought it didn't. It like disappeared as soon as it was in the light. It was like, it went in the light and then it was just gone. I'm running. Fuck, where did I park? I restarted the game as well as lowered any graphics settings I could, like FPS and stuff. So that should stop the weird artifacting in the recording when I have lag spikes. Because that should just stop the lag spikes, probably, maybe, sort of. So far, if I recall correctly, we have an enemy that stalks you, always knows where you are, catches you and has some criteria to get out of, like, its grasp, as well as the fact that, like, it's like the immortal snail meme. Like, you know, the other one is just like, you know, I've seen people make comparisons to it, but I don't know if the devs intentionally made that. This is intentionally designed with the immortal snail concept in mind of, it gets you and you're basically dead. But what's the criteria to escape? Like, what's something new and unique? Also, I'm lagging a lot. I'm lagging a lot, so I'm gonna say that again. What's unique? What's cool and unique to like be its criteria to escape? I lowered my frame rate even more to as low as it goes, so I apologize if the footage becomes choppier for separate reasons. It's fine. Also, I had a comment on that last video part. Oh, hey, the other entrance. Where it said that monster does disappear in the light, and now that I know, like, part of the game confirmed it, I know it's not just in my head, which is kind of cool to know. Oh yeah, because I did survive that, by the way. Oh, there's something chasing me. Oh, it's your It's chasing me, it's chasing me, it's chasing me. I'm running upstairs. I can't find the factory. I'm upstairs, but I can't find the factory. I found my ship. I'm heading to my ship. Okay, the video for the last run just got completely corrupted. Again, as I said, there are some launch day bugs that are happening that, you know, most can be offset, but if this thing fails to extract video, at least on my PC, it makes it so I can't even open the folder with F3, which is how I've been getting the files when I die, nor can I even play the game afterwards. As soon as I go to bed, it just crashes the game. So I'm going to recap what I remember my thoughts being before I tried troubleshooting. Basically, we have an enemy that stalks the player loosely based on the immortal snail. It will see a player, and then that player becomes a target who they will track. Probably very slowly, but it'll be like they always know where they're at. Then, what we do from there is we then I thought of the idea of maybe they're also the shadow enemy. Instead of being revealed in shadow, they're only revealed in light. As well as light also happens to scare them, like the shadow. Which, yeah, overlaps the criteria for making them go away, but still makes the criteria for detecting them different. Because unlike the shadow, they don't disappear, they're still there, it's just you don't only see them when they're in light. I think that's all I said about it in the new run. I'm gonna go to a fresh camera and just recap before we cut to Art Rosie, who's actually gonna design it and refine the concept, because, yeah, there's been like a minute between each recording, so I've been forgetting details, and like this probably seemed all over the place. Alright, fuck. The camera was being difficult there for a second, so probably someone dropping it. But so I watched all the footage I recorded so far. Honestly, pretty entertaining. This idea is not as shitty as I thought it was. I wish there was like a stand I could set the camera on. But after rewatching, I think I have a solid idea. So rather than an enemy that like sees you and then targets you, what if it's like SCP-096? Because there's already a 173/Moving Angel variant where it's if you see it, it stops moving. Why not make the antithesis of this? If you see it, then you're its target. Maybe have it so like either have it so everyone else can see it and you can't if you're the target, or vice versa, where they can't see it but you can. Maybe make it so that whoever in that scenario can't see it can only see it in the light, while the target can see it always, increasing the paranoia. As well as maybe if you see it and then you see it disappear, that'll cause paranoia in you because you can't see it. You have to rely on your friends, and if they're not around, you could easily get jumped. But what would be the criteria to escape? That's something that Art Rosie might need to think of. Oh, I'm almost out of time. I'm gonna need to do one more recording of this. So I found out that I think throwing the camera off the cliff resets the film. I could test that real quick, but I don't wanna. You know, I'll test it right after this. But yeah, so I think that also works because, you know, the snail, he can track you, but he needs line of sight first. So I think if we're gonna make something that's an antithesis of him to, you know, further the immortal snail reference, I think that would be appropriate. Have it be based on line of sight of when you see it, rather than when it sees you. Because I don't think there's an enemy in the game that works like that so far. Honestly, this is actually difficult because currently there's no good resources on what the enemies actually behave like. There's like articles where it's like, you know, when those like, hey, Silksong's gonna release, like release date came out, and it's like, oh, I click it, and then you actually read the article and it's like, the release date has not been stated. That is the release date of the game. It's like that kind of like game journalist information where it's like, you know, technically it's true, but it's, you know, like the same kind of advice you'd hear from your grandma. So for all I know, there's already an enemy that works like this, and I'm just unaware. So yeah, but I think we're gonna cut to Art Rose. She's gonna explain the visual design of this, because I currently have no idea. She can explain the visual design and refine the concept. So yeah, I'll probably do the outro like this part again. I don't know how much I'm gonna cut, but this is fun. I'm running out of footage. Okay, bye. So fun fact about content warning concept art, this was the pitch that the CEO gave for what the game would be. And I found that so funny, I thought I'd include a segment of me doing MS Paint with my mouse to like reference that. And also just, you know, now that it's sober and not 3 a.m., actually it's 2 a.m., but at least I'm sober. So I thought I'd detail the more fleshed out concept I came up with after watching those videos again. Originally, my concepts were a monster that was scared by, like, light, or that, like, you know, looking at it, that's supposed to be an eyeball. Looking at it, those were the aggro triggers. Or at the very least had something to do with revealing the monster and be, like, invisible without those, or something along those lines. But I did find out that there's already 2 monsters in the game that already have this, the, like, eyeball thing and the, like, tentacle eyeball thing. I know, very descriptive. So since those already have the criteria of looking at them kills you and or aggroes it, you know, respectively, I had to think of something else. So I decided around the idea that I had that was only one person can see it. So like if you got a group of 4 here, look at them. Just guys being dudes. Look, they're smiling. This one, he can see it, so he's not smiling. But then comes the question of how do you make it so just one person is the target and, you know, the only person who can see it, and everyone else has to rely on them to see the monster. There's an item in the game that you only get one of, and that's the camera, because at least as of recording, there's no way to get extra cameras or extra film. And so I decided that the monster, let's just... supposed to see horns, they kind of look like big old ears. The monster, he can only be seen on the camera, and we'll just draw another eyeball here to signify that. That's an even worse eyeball than the first one. And this causes a sort of feedback loop, because the monster, he's sleeping right now, the monster can only be seen by the camera, their target, and they would, like, you know, kind of like the I mentioned this in the recording, but kind of like the Bracken and Lethal Company, they would try to sneak up and stalk them, and only like go away if they got caught and they're not close enough to actually attack. And this means the camera operator needs to use the camera a lot, or at least hold it up to their face a lot, so that they can see the monster. But by holding the camera, they become its target, and it just causes a loop of paranoia where every moment you don't have the camera out, you're vulnerable to it. And that's at least the idea I had. But then I had to come up with a concept for the monster's design. And this game has a really interesting aesthetic, because all the monsters, if you actually look at their in-game models, which I did, I was looking through the assets, as I mentioned, and, like, they all look really fucking goofy. Like, they're all a bunch of, like, big, blocky, round shapes. Some are more silly than others, and some are more, like, inherently scary in their design. But most of the fear of these monsters is not from the models. It's, like, you know, it's a little goofy guy, but he's got like real harsh lighting on him. This is supposed to be cross-hatching. Yeah, that's sort of a shadow. It looks like he just has a weird thing of hair. But, like, you know, goofy little guy who's made scary by the lighting and the circumstance. Like, I think the most blatant example of this would be the ghost with the knife. That's just, you know, it's just a silly little guy. He has a knife, and I kind of wanted a concept to go with this. And, you know, with me changing the concept to revolving around the camera, my brain thought, like, okay, what's scary about a camera? And I thought of photo negatives, which I'm just gonna draw a photo like this. That's an old-timey photo. Because, like, you know, I took a photography class in high school, and I remember the photo negatives just looked really fucking creepy. Like, you know, the sclera goes black, the iris and pupil go bright white, everyone's skin becomes a weird, like, bluish color. Then, some reason, my brain made the connection of photo negative equals rubber hose cartoon. I'm not sure if these were just 2 separate thoughts that happened at the same time, or if I thought of that one, like, Five Nights at Freddy's Disney game with the photo negative Mickey. But regardless, my brain went to rubber hose cartoon. Then I thought, like, okay, we make a little rubber hose guy, and a little rubber hose guy. I'm trying to draw Mickey Mouse. Little rubber hose guy, and then just invert his colors. And originally I was just gonna do blatantly like, you know, like a Mickey Mouse Mickey Mouse knockoff you'd see in like South Park or something. Although I guess South Park just uses Mickey Mouse because they're a parody show. You know, where like you can tell it's like referencing Mickey Mouse or Felix the Cat or Oswald Rabbit, one of those characters, but at the same time you realize it's like, oh no, this is like not gonna get me sued. But then I realized, like, you know, those characters have black bodies with white faces, and if you inverse those colors, that looks very racist. And so I decided to go more abstract with the body design. And then I can't pull it up in Paint, but Editor Rose, pull up the image. When I look up Rubber Hose cartoons for reference, I found this image of just a smear frame from a Mickey Mouse cartoon. Or maybe not even smear frame, but just like a weird frame from an old-timey one. And so I decided to base the body plan off of that, although I did end up making that weird neck part thicker, looking more like a body than a neck. Like, you know, arms attached to the head, the long gangly legs. And so, putting all these concepts together, I made something that looked like this. Welcome, hustlers, to a new guide to SpookTube. Here we will show you how to deal with the horrors of the deep. Reports have come in describing a new entity inhabiting the ruins of the old world. And today, I will teach you everything I know about them. The negative cannot be perceived by the human eye, but don't worry, as long as you look through the camera, it's not only visible, but identifiable by its shining yellow eyes. In fact, it seems to really love the camera. It'll approach anyone holding it and attack them. It's right by me, it's right behind me, it's right behind me, it's right behind me. Dear God, why did I do something? It's right there, it's right there. I think I got away. I got to the surface. I can see the diving bell. And that is the negative, obviously named after photo negatives. The design, of course, as I mentioned when talking about, like, you know, the core concept was it's a rubber hose character whose colors are inverted. You know, instead of white shorts, he has black shorts. His quote-unquote gloves are black instead of white. His body's a bright, stark white. And so that part's pretty basic. You can also generally kind of tell the basic shape is based on that one Mickey image. Although, to be fair, I made his body a lot thicker because when it was thinner, it just kind of looked like he had a weird, gangly neck and looked a bit too goofy. I also tried to give him the mouth from the image, but just giving him a mouth made him not scary at all, made him look very goofy. And the design's honestly just very basic, but like, you know, it works for what I want. Some small details that I did add where I made sure his hands kind of look big and almost like cartoony in their shape as well, because all the monsters in this game have really weird hands. They're either really accurate human hands like the Iron Maiden, or they're just very goofy, and I leaned with goofy. Man, take a shot every time I say goofy. Don't. You will probably get alcohol poisoning. But another detail was I decided to make the little buttons on his pants look kind of like eyeballs. Maybe they could be like googly eyes and bounce around. That'd be kind of silly. I also decided to make his eyes a different color, just so he was, one, easier to see from a distance, as well as just colors in this game typically don't mean a good thing. Like, the only time a color means a good thing is the blue from the camera when it's dropped, or the yellow of your ship. Any other time you see a color, you know I'm in danger. You know, the red from the gun dog, yellow flashes from the bomb dude, you know, things like that. And finally, I decided to give him devil horns because originally I wanted to just give him Mickey Mouse ears, but that would have been a bit too much of a direct reference, as well as, you know, it just would not make him look scary. So I decided to give him devil horns, partially because, you know, like, that's kind of like the universal sign for, haha, I'm evil, but also just to reference Bendy and the Ink Machine, because it was a rubber hose style character I'm familiar with. But now we talk about the design, his mechanics would be a lot like the Bracken from Lethal Company, as we discussed. When he spawns in, he would always know the location of the person who's holding the camera, and as long as you're holding the camera, he can't attack you. You're also the only one who can see him when you're holding the camera, specifically when you're looking through the little viewport part, and looking at him once will get him to go away. Although unlike the Bracken, I think continuously looking at him, he would not come rushing towards you unless you're already in his attack range. But if he somehow happens to sneak up on you, either you don't see him in time, or maybe you just trade off the camera to someone who doesn't know the monster existed, then he will become visible to everyone and grab you. So he's only invisible when he's stalking. And when he grabs you, he'll remain stationary and slowly drain your health, kind of like the starfish. And you need to get another player to shine a light in his face, and he'll become invisible again and run off, waiting a little bit before he actually comes and attacks you again. I also thought of the idea of maybe you just have to like have someone scream really loud at it, because there's yet to be a monster that like, you make go away by just yelling at it, and I think that's a very cool concept, but I might explore that in my next video, because I think just shining a light in his face just is a bit more accurate to what I wanted initially. But I feel this would do a great job at least causing paranoia in one player. It causes paranoia, actually probably the whole team, because it causes paranoia with everyone else that even though they're not in danger of it, they know the camera person could be struck at any time by this monster that they have no way of detecting. And the camera person has the added stress of they're the only one who can detect it, and they're actively the target. But let me know what you think of this. I honestly am having so much fun with this game. I want to make more videos like this. Let me know what you thought of the beginning part. I might scrap that and go back to my old format if that didn't work, but I thought it'd be at least a fun idea to make a YouTube video mostly in-game. Also, if you have any suggestions for another monster design, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. I'd also like to say before this video ends that if you liked any of the art features in this video, specifically the actual art I drew here, where with full effort in and not MS Paint, then you can contact me via Discord for a commission. My commissions are currently open. I'm thinking of running a deal soon on ref sheets and making them only $60 for a full turnaround. More info will be on screen when I actually edit this. Speaking of, join the Discord. That's how you can find my Discord. I'm right at the top there. It's kind of dead, but you can change that. And finally, I want to say that if you want to use the line art for the negative as a sort of digital adult coloring book, it'll be up for free on my Patreon. Although I guess if you really want to give me money, you can. But yeah, this was kind of a relatively simple video. It was split up into so many different sections, each just being its own thing that compoundly they were kind of stressful to make because how different they were from each other. I had to put a lot of workload on myself, but individually they were relatively simple to make. So yeah, this was a lot of fun. I'd love to do this again. At the very least, I want to make more monsters for this game because it's probably my new hyperfixation, even though I still need to make Lethal Company Part 2 because I'm bad at content creation. Anyways, I'm rambling. I always do this at the end of my videos. So I just want to say one final thing. Subscribe only if you enjoyed. Know that I appreciate your existence. Please keep on existing, and I hope we have a good existence. Bye! Goodbye, hug!
If you enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe or I will come to your house and kill you. What's going on over here?
Gay son of thought daughter. You're being recorded on TikTok. Say something.
Child neglect. Yo, is that the new iPod Touch? Hey, yo, let me film that shit. Let me film that shit. Hey, yo, he tripped me Gucci to the sock. Oh, what are those? Jerry. He's here already.
Gay son or thought daughter.
No, put it down.
That's not an answer, Jerry.
Jerry, no, we can't have sex on YouTube, Jerry. No, don't do that. Jerry, no, Jerry, you're already on the sex offender.
Jerry, I have some questions. What's your opinion on 9/11?
What the fuck? He actually answered?